Hello everybody, my name is Pancake Camilo, and today I will be talking about something serious, the World Cup. The World Cup is a huge event that brings a lot of people together, and because it's so huge, a lot of companies like to get into the hype and talk about their own games or what their characters would be like in the World Cup. And one of my favorite games of all time, Guilty Gear Strive, has Arc System Works, the creators of Strive, has came out with a sort of team format for the characters from Guilty Gear Strive, and today I will be strictly analyzing them. So we have the coach and the 11 players on the field, and I'm going to be basically discussing how well their plan is, or their characters' positions, because I would say I'm a fan of soccer, football, however you like to call it. I'll probably just call it soccer for this vlog. And I'm a huge fan ever since I was young. It's a big part of my family, especially also because a lot of my family is Latino and they really love soccer. Colombia, please win the World Cup this year. And I also really love Guilty Gear Strive. So I wouldn't say I'm particularly good or really knowledgeable about either of them, but I feel like I'm knowledgeable enough to make this short video discussing the team. So first off, let's start with the coach. The coach is Kai Kiske. Now, Kai Kiske is a very intelligent guy, as far as I know. I mean, he's the king of Illyria, I think is how you pronounce it, and he has made, I guess, some pretty wise decisions. I know he tried to kill all the gears at one point, but I know he's really strong and has leadership skills, so I'm pretty sure he would probably make a good coach. I don't know if he'd make the best coach, but I can't really think of anybody else that could coach as good as him. Also, it's not showing up well on the camera, so I'm sorry. That one time you saw it will be the only time you see it, but I'll mention them as we go through. So let's start with our goalie, and our goalie is Potemkin. Now the thing about Potemkin is that at first you might think he might make a really good goalie, okay? And this is thinking in the perspective that they're fighting Argentina or France or actual soccer players, and not they're fighting other fictional fighting game characters. Because for example, if Potemkin was the goalie, but then they were fighting BlazBlue characters and Tager was the goalie, then it's they also have superpowers and whatnot. So in this scenario, they're actually fighting human players that don't have superhuman speed and levels or whatnot. So Potemkin as the goalie, at first you might think it's a good idea because he's super big and he covers the goal. But the problem I have with it is that Potemkin is really slow. Even though they made his walking speed faster, he's still a really slow guy and takes a while to react or do stuff. So his physique is big, right? He's like this, but he also leaves gaps within where the ball could easily go through. And I feel like having gaps, especially as a really big character, is a huge sign of weakness, because what if the ball passes through one of those gaps and you're too slow to react to it? Then you won't be able to block the goal. Easy goal for the other team. Also, I just think the goalie field is more than just the box. So if he tries to move anywhere slightly past just the goalie box, he would probably get cooked if somebody like Messi could probably just go through him and then score the goal. So Potemkin's game plan will probably be just camping in front of the goal the whole time and hoping that they don't go through his blind spots, I guess. But I don't think Potemkin really would be that good of a goalie. I would think someone with a higher someone who could react faster would probably make a good goalie, who could also defend as well. I'm gonna try to give maybe a suggestion that I think would fit better. And I don't see, I'm going to try to say someone who's not on here. And I don't see Venom anywhere on this list. And I think Venom, he might react fast enough, and he might, if he has his pole thing that, I forgot what it's called, the thing you use to play pool. If he has that, his pool stick, if he has that, then he would absolutely be the best goalie. Even if you think about it, if he has the pole stick, he's really good with hitting balls with the pole stick. That's his whole thing. He hits the 8 balls. So he might actually be a better goalie than Potemkin, in my opinion. But anyways, here are 4 defenders: Baiken, Leo, Nago, and Chip. Now, out of these 4, I do think Chip is probably the best one. He's really fast. if they try to get past him, he could just easily get up there and stop it. Any attacks? I think Nago is fine. Again, Nago's like a little slow from what I've experienced. I haven't fought many Nagos, but he's a little slow, and I don't think he would really do that well as defense. Leo though, Leo I think is actually a pretty good pick as well, because he could easily change stances, and then like if he's a little higher up on the field, he could easily stop an incoming ball from trying to get across him. Or if he's more back, when like more pressure is happening from the other team, he could definitely defend as well. And I think Baiken is actually a strange pick for defense. I would probably put Baiken somewhere in like midfield instead of defense. If I had to switch this up, I'm not sure exactly who I'd put in defense. As a matter of fact, I'm going to look up the Guilty Gear characters just so I don't have to spend time thinking about it, and instead I could just see everybody who's on there. Guilty Gear Strive, all characters. I'm also trying to do this in one take because I don't have an editing software on my iPad, and I just want to export this from my camera to my thing. But let's see. I think Dizzy might be a good defense, actually. Dizzy could probably be a good goalie as well, but like I said before, I think Venom has more experience with that. Dizzy would be a pretty good defense, I think, a defender. I think Dizzy would, with her angels, she's able to like freeze the field. She's able to stop anybody's passing. She has like big wings, so she could probably, like, if they try to like go around her, she could probably just use her wings to block them. And Bedman would also make a good goalie or defender. I think Bedman is actually a good option as well to put somewhere there, because he's like a big bed, right? And unlike Potemkin, who has the physique of a man, Bedman has the physique of a bed, so he could actually lay on his side and block the entire goal. Now, whether that's legal or not in the game of soccer is a completely different question, but if we're talking about, you know, Guilty Gear Strive here, Bedman could probably just lay on his side and then actually cover the whole goal. And Bedman's also faster than Potemkin, as far as I remember, so I think he would be a better choice for either goalie or he could be defense. So I would either put Bedman in defense, or I would put like in the middle of the defense, or I would put Venom as defense or as the goalie and swap either of them. I think that's not a bad idea. Now, as for midfielders, we got Ramlethal, Faust, and Axel. Now, I don't think this is actually that bad. I think Ramlethal would make a pretty good midfielder. I would probably put Baiken there because I think Baiken also has the capabilities of being able to defend and go pretty far and help pass the ball to other players. So I think Baiken might have deserved more to be on midfield than Axel or Faust. I do definitely think, though, this is Ram's place. Ram absolutely, even though she could hit heavy, I do think this is her spot to be in. She could definitely stop balls from coming through, and she could definitely also pass balls forwards to the strikers. A character I would probably put there instead of maybe Axel, because Axel works as well. If he's able to use his time stop mechanic, none of this matters, and he should probably be striker if he can use his time stop mechanic, because then he could just stop time as soon as he gets the ball and score the goal. But not considering that obvious thing, Axel, if he has his sights, then maybe he might actually be good for midfield as well, especially in the center. Now that I think about it, if he does have his sights, he actually might be pretty good. But personally, I would probably put someone as like Slayer instead. I think Slayer would be pretty good as well. I would probably put Zato might work well too, if you think about it, because Zato has Eddie, and Eddie could probably do a lot of passes or defense if he needs to. He could also probably be a good defender, but I think Eddie would probably be better as a midfielder. Or my final pick, which I would also personally put up here just because of personal bias, I would put Bridget on there. Bridget is a she's a mixed type of character, you know. She could do a lot of defending, she could also do a lot of attacking. She doesn't deal a lot of attack damage, which is why she's not a striker. But I think Bridget would actually be a really good pick here as well, because if you maybe put her on the right side of the field, anybody who comes by, she could just use her, she could ride her yo-yo straight to there. She could stop them with Roger. She could throw her yo-yos and then jump straight onto it. I think Bridget would be the perfect midfielder in my opinion. And before we get to the strikers, we should also probably talk about team composition here, right? We got a 4-3-3. level, as you can see right here. And I don't really think this is bad. I don't think 433 is really that bad. And I think especially for Guilty Gear characters like these as well, if you pin them with each other, I think they would probably work better alongside one another. So I actually think 433 is fair considering the characters we're putting here. But that said, now that I'm looking at all the characters that I've got pulled up here as well, I don't really think anybody would do as good as a coach, other than potentially Asuka might actually be a better coach than Kai Kisk, simply because he's a really smart guy. But I also know from experience, being really smart doesn't automatically mean that you're going to be like the best leader. So I still think Kai is probably the best for that spot, but Asuka might be like a second pick, I'd say. Now finally, we have 3 strikers: Giovanna, Soul Bad Guy, and Jam. Now, from all of the ones I've seen so far, goalies, defenders, midfielders, and strikers, I actually think this is the most solid lineup. Is it one that I would personally agree with? Probably not, but it is probably the most solid I've seen. Before I get into it, I was also thinking where Mei might fit in all this. Mei might actually be a good goalie. I don't think she'd be good at defense because of how slow she is. And I know I said that Potemkin is slow. He's like a slow grappler, so like maybe he might not be good for goalie. But then Mei is like a power, and like she's being goalie. But I think Mei could actually be a good goalie if she has her giant anchor, and she could also summon dolphins. So like, if they ever try to come here, she could use her anchor to stop the goal, and then once it's her time to kick, she could use the dolphin, like that one move she has where she has the dolphin and then the dolphin hits the ball, and then she could use that to like pass a crazy ball straight to striker. She might actually be a good goalie. All this to say, I don't think Potemkin was a good choice for a goalie. I think Potemkin was probably like an okay choice for a goalie. Like the only reason why you choose him is for his size, and that's it. So now, going back on topic, the 3 strikers we have are Giovanna, Soul Bad Guy, and Jam. Giovanna, good pick, right? I would say for strikers, you definitely want a lot of characters that could run fast. And Giovanna is definitely a really good pick for that, especially because she is a rushdown character. So especially if Giovanna, if they have meter in football, Giovanna full meter runs straight ahead to the opposite side, and then she could do her super where she like twirls her feet around, or she could do her super where she like jumps into the air with her dog and then kick the ball straight into the goal. Like Giovanna's a really good pick here. Soul Bad Guy, I think he's pretty good as well. Obviously they mostly put him here just because he's the main character of Guilty Gear, and so like you're gonna have a Guilty Gear soccer list, but like not put the main character of Guilty Gear on there. So I definitely do think they put him there, especially in the front because he's the main character rep. But personally, I do think there might be some rushdowns that could probably do better there, and even non-rushdowns, right? So let's go through some examples. Chip, he's in defense, but he's also one of the fastest, if not, I think, the fastest character in the game. So Chip could probably be a better striker than he is defender. Although Chip is also pretty weak, which I don't know if that would make him a worse striker defender. But anyways, I think Ino could also work as a striker. You know, she just floats in the air. So if she kicks the ball in the air and then she floats in the air, she could probably do some unfair shit against the soccer players. Elfelt. Elfelt is also a pretty good pick, in my opinion. She doesn't really have as many unique traits as the other characters, but I do think her speed and her like charm might be able to get her far, I guess. I don't like Anki, so is that his name, Anki? I don't really like the blue guy, so I'm not gonna talk about him much. But the other blue guy, I first thought he might be good for striker position, but I do think Happy Chaos might actually be better in midfield. And I also think Jacko might actually be a good midfielder as well, simply because of the way they're played. Because at first I thought, you know, Happy Chaos is crazy, maybe he could do some like crazy shit with the ball as a striker position, but then I thought like he could summon his own like fake stands on the field, which would probably be better for midfielding to confuse the like player. So like he makes a stand and then he runs somewhere else with the ball, so then he can pass it to the striker, which isn't a bad idea in my opinion. I don't, like I said before, I don't think Asuka would be like a striker or anything like that. I think if anything he'd be a coach. But let's stay on topic for now. I think one last character I would probably put on there instead of Soul Bad Guy would be Melia. Melia is a really fast character who has a lot of opportunities to do things with the balls. I don't know how legal using hair is in the game, but I mean, if you could use your head, then maybe you could use your hair to do something as well. So she could probably use her hair to like kick the ball for her if she's not able to. Like maybe she could like stand with the ball in between her and then use the hair to like kick it from the bottom and like kick it really strong, and I'll catch the other players off guard. But just based off her speed alone, and also the acrobats she could do to like jump in the air and then rush down really fast, and her slide as well, I think she would probably be a better striker than Soul Bad Guy. And finally, Jam. I don't think Jam is a bad pick as well. Like I said, I would probably put another character on there instead of Jam. Like I would probably put Eno up there, or Elfelt. But I don't think Jam is bad as well. You know, her card mechanic could probably help her get away with some crazy stuff on the field. But anyways, now that I've discussed what I feel like about this team right here, I'm going to try to make my own team because I thought that would be a cool way to close this video. So for coach, we're going to keep it as Kaikis, but as co-coach, let's put in Asuka. Asuka's the co-coach, alright? So for our goalie, we're gonna do this like if it's an actual soccer game, and I'm pretty sure in football they have 2 of each position, so then that way if something happens they could sub them in with someone else. And there's like 30 something Guilty Gear characters, so we could totally do that. Potemkin, get him out of here. For goalie, instead we are going to go with Venom, and co-goalie, or like the second goalie just in case, I think we're gonna go with Bedman. I think Bedman would make a really good goalie. So there you go. Forward defense, I still think we're going to keep the 4-3-3 lineup. I don't think that's a bad lineup, especially like I said for these characters. But for defense, we will keep Viking and Chip and Leo, and we will sub in Nago for Dizzy. I think Dizzy would go on there. And some other good defenders would probably be Bedman's a goalie, so we can't do that. We'll probably keep as a backup goalie. We'll do May, Faust. What's the name of the person who has the scythes? You know who I'm talking about, like with the red scythes. I really hate it. I really hate finding them. Testament sucks. I'm sorry, Testament mains, but finding you guys suck. I don't like the teleport mechanic. I will put Testament up there, and you know what? Call me crazy, but we'll put Gold Lewis there as well. I think Gold Lewis might actually be a really well defender. And for midfield, we'll keep Ramlethal. We'll add Happy Chaos and Jacko, and we could also add Johnny. Would probably be a good midfielder or striker, so you could put Johnny on there, and Bridget would also be on there. I would probably substitute one of the ones I said earlier for Bridget. So yeah, Ramlethal, Happy Chaos, Bridget. We got Viking, Leo, Dizzy, Chip, and then we got Bedman as the goalie, and then Venom as the goalie. And finally for our strikers, we got Giovanna. I would probably put a Felt up there instead of Soul Bad Guy, and I would probably put Eno up there instead of Jam. Although, now that I think about it, Soul Bad Guy is like a pretty hard-hitting character, so we might need somebody up there who could definitely like deliver a really strong goal. So we could probably put Sin up there instead of Soul Bad Guy, because even though I think Sin would make a good defender, midfielder, he could also probably pull off some really crazy stuff as a striker. Either him or Slayer could also be pretty good as well. I think Slayer would be a crazy striker. Slayer would probably be good in any position but goalie, now that I think about it. But when I try to think of it from that perspective, right? Because you got characters like you got players like Cristiano Ronaldo, you got players like Messi and Mbappe. One moment to another, they're giving the ball, boom, instant score, straight from half the field, crazy stuff. And that might be also the reason why Soul Bad Guy's up there, because even though he's not the fast, he's not the strongest, he could still do really, really powerful things that I can't see somebody like Efelt or Eno or Giovanna doing. So I'd actually probably keep So Bad Guy up there and just swap Jam for Eno or something, because of the ball idea, like I said before. So anyways, whoops. So anyways, that was a very unserious, serious look into the Guilty Gear lineup for the following World Cup. Can't wait to see them play. I hope they qualify or pass the group stage, and then they're able to win the tournament. And I have high hopes for them because I actually ended up betting all of my money on them. So if they lose, I will have no more money to keep on making videos. So yeah, actually this was really fun to do on a whim, and I hope that other companies actually do stuff like this as well with their characters. That would be nice to talk about. But yeah, to have my interest in one video, just yapping about it to the camera in a one take. And thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. And look out soon for more videos that are going to come out on my vlog channel. Or, I mean, this isn't a vlog channel. This is just like a side channel where I just upload whatever the hell I feel like. But I'm going to be doing some vlogs on here soon. So look out for that. Thank you for watching. I hope Colombia wins the World Cup. If they don't, I would be... Colombia, USA, because USA is playing pretty crazy lately. I don't really want Argentina to win a second World Cup in a row, so I'd probably go USA, or Colombia, USA, and then for my third pick, maybe France. Seeing France win the World Cup after how last year ended would actually be pretty nice. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Either this video ages really well or really poorly.